Hey, welcome back. So let's continue here. So we did create a sign up controller, and all we want now is to be able to see what we are getting here. So now all the requests, whether they are GET request or post request, usually post requests, are saved inside this request variable. So if you're expecting to post something, you should always write this request like that, okay? And then because that's where all the requests will come in through. So let's go back here for a second to the the sign up route here. So if, for example, I had another item here, let's say I wanted to receive an ID like so, I can still add that there, the same way we had done in the previous tutorials where we didn't have to put this, where we had a function and view instead. So we can still do this again. Excuse me. So now if I go back to my sign up page, it's going to tell me not found because I don't have that ID at the very end. Excuse me. So now if I do type the ID there, how exactly do I get that ID? Well, if I come back now to the controller, because now we are routing everything through the controller, I can add one more parameter here like that, ID, and then maybe I can echo it here and say ID, something like this. So let me come back here and refresh, and now you see that the ID is here and it's also there. So if I add more parameters here, all I need to do is add more here in the index. Just whatever the parameter names are, you can just keep adding and so on and so forth, depending on how many of them you're expecting. Now there are some times when you're expecting a different number and you get a different number. So you can put defaults for these just in case they are not there and you don't have to have an error. Okay, so let me remove that. That was just an if you want to do that. So let me go back to the routes and remove the ID, otherwise it will be causing us some pain. Now, one thing I want you to notice very clearly here is that we are using GET on this route. Okay, GET. The reason we are doing that is because whenever somebody types something in the URL, that is called a GET request. So let me remove this last part here, like that. Okay. So whenever you click on a link, that's a GET request. But whenever you post something with inputs like this, that's a POST request. So now what we want to do is we want this page to be able to receive both the GET and the POST request, because we're going to be posting stuff here. And also we are going to be refreshing this page, which is a GET request, if I do that. And also there is also a POST request. So here, in order to prove what I'm talking about, is I can get this request here and just say echo request method, like that. I don't know if I have to put those two braces there. Okay, so there we go. Now it's telling me that this is a GET request, right? Now what happens if I try to send a POST request here? So I'm going to click sign up here, even though I'm not sending anything, I'm just sending empty boxes, but still it's going to be a POST request. So if I click here now, and we are getting an error, right? It's saying the POST method is not supported for this route. The only supported ones are GET and head. So we wanted to support a POST request as well. So what do we do? I'm sure you guessed right by now, because this is where we are setting the routes. So here I can tell it, so far I've only told it that this sign up page only accepts a GET request. So now if I duplicate it without changing anything else and just change that to POST, it means now I can accept both a GET request and a POST request. So since this thing is just echoing whatever method was used, whether it's POST or GET, it's supposed to show me that now there is a POST request if I resend this data. Ooh, it's saying page expired. Why is the page expired? Well, the thing is, Laravel comes with its own security system, and so it requires that every form should have what is known as a CSRL. So you have to do an and like this and say CSRF, something like this. Or is it SCRF? Oh, it's been a while, so I don't remember this. But this is a token. So once you do this, like that, it will generate a token, and then it's going to use that token to determine if the form is valid or not. The reason for this is for security. I have a security video on my channel which you can check out if you want to know more about this. It's called signups with basic signup with security, so you can check that. It talks about these tokens here. So this token is just there to make sure that this form was generated by your website, because some people are very clever. They will go to your website and create fake forms which they'll get your users to type in certain things, and then they can use that same form to send it to your website, and you will think it's a legitimate user, but it's not. So that is called cross-site attack, a cross-site attack. So to prevent that, we use this. So if I do that correctly, if that was the right spelling, if I refresh my page here and I'm just going to inspect the element, I'm supposed to see a new hidden field inside the form. So as you can see, it seems I spelled it correctly. So there's an input of type hidden with a token. So the name is token, and then there's a value of a token there, which is generated by Laravel. So that way, it will not tell me that the thing is expired when I click sign up now. So instead of all that, I get post here. So now you see that we are actually getting a post request. So what do I do if I want to see the input that I have sent through the post request? So instead of echoing the method here, I just want to print underscore readable like that. I want to print R. Instead of the request method, I want to print the request or like that. So once you do request or, you are getting all the inputs here. So if I refresh the page again and do that, so now you see the data that was sent. So there was a token that was sent, and then there was email, which is empty, and then there was password, which was empty as well. So you may be asking yourself, how exactly do I know what method to use? Why did I use method there and then now I'm using or? How did I know to put request here, request? What is going on here? Well, I feel your pain, and this is why I'm going to show you exactly where I got that information. If you look here, I have two, if you go to laravel.com, right, and you go to the documentation, make sure you have selected the right version here, because you can select different versions. So we're using the version 8, make sure you're on 8, and then there's a list here of things to look out for. So here I clicked on validation, but what we want is the request page here. So I looked at all this documentation, the basics, and then went to requests. So this is what showed me how to do that. So you can read this documentation to get exactly, in case there's a part you don't understand. So you see, this is how you get one input field. We're going to see that next, but otherwise you will notice that there's a request there, and then it explains a little bit more on how to do all these things. For example, what am I looking for? I'm looking for or somewhere here. So there's plenty you can do with this. Request URL, request method, that's the one I was using there, and so on and so forth. So you can read this in your own time and figure out something in case I didn't cover something that you wanted to see. So here, excuse me. So for example, if I just want to get the input, where is this? just the email here. So of course I'm going to get request and then say input like that, and the brackets, and then say email like so. So then I will just see the email itself, and the email is empty. So let me type something so that it's not empty anymore, and hit sign up, and now you can see there it is. So that's how you get one item, and the other time was how you get all of them. All right, so now that we've gotten the user data, let's see how to validate this data. This is what this page is about, data validation. So we're going to see how to validate our data to make sure that somebody doesn't put in an empty string. Maybe there's a limit on the number of text in the password, maybe a minimum. The password should be a minimum of 8 characters, blah blah blah. All that kind of stuff is coming up in the next video.